Hey everybody, welcome to episode 70 of the Reluctant Leader Podcast. I'm Paul Jenkins, and I'm also a little bit blown away that I'm at episode 70. Wow. Today I want to talk to you about something super simple. Actually ordinary, maybe even laughably ordinary. I want to talk to you about a candle, a cup, a chair, a companion. It's actually my dog Eden. This is not exactly the stuff of spiritual legend, right? Like nobody's writing books called The Mystical Power of Recliners or How Puppies Can Help You Be Near Jesus. Maybe we should be writing those books. But lately, these simple things have become sacred signposts for me. Because as part of my doctoral work, I've been practicing an abbreviated form of the Ignatian Spiritual Exercises each morning for the last 10 weeks. And in that quiet rhythm, these everyday objects have actually become reminders, more like anchors really, that keep attaching me more securely to Christ. And it got me thinking, our world has 5 major oceans, 5 vast seas that help sustain life on this planet. And maybe our souls need 5 C's to stay spiritually sustainable. I know mine does. So let's talk about that this morning, right? The candle is the first C. His presence dispels the darkness. Every morning I light a candle. Now, let's be honest, lighting a candle doesn't make me more spiritual. You might think it makes me a little weird, but it does help me remember that darkness never gets the final word. John 1, one of my favorite verses, says that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not nor can overcome it. Y'all, some mornings the darkness isn't around me, it's in me. Confusion, stress, fatigue, old fears trying to make a comeback up here. But one small flame reminds me the presence of God is stronger than whatever shadows I might have carried into the room with me that day. Man, sometimes all you need is one flicker to remember who's with you. The candle is the first C. The second C is the cup. It reminds me that his presence warms and fills me. Usually that cup is full of coffee because I might be spiritual, but I'm not reckless. I need that coffee, y'all. And that warm cup in my hands reminds me that God doesn't just inform me, he fills me. Psalm 23 says that my cup overflows. God's presence warms the cold places in me. Places that disappointment might have chilled or that grief might have numbed, places that striving may have exhausted. And there's something about that aroma too. Coffee fills a room before you even take a sip. And it's the same with the presence of God. In 2 Corinthians, Paul says that we carry the aroma of Christ. And that means that when we've been with Jesus, people can sense something before we ever say anything. Because peace has a scent and joy has a fragrance. Grace lingers in the room. So yes, I drink my coffee, but I remember there's a deeper meaning behind the cup. His presence warms me and fills me with his aroma. The third C is companion. It reminds me that his presence stays close because that's what my dog does, Eden. Often she jumps up in my lap while I practice the exercises. And she doesn't care about my titles. She doesn't care about deadlines. Boy, I do, like lit review coming up, right? She doesn't care about my productivity metrics. She just wants to be near me. There's a proverb in the Bible that says that there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Spoiler alert, that friend is Jesus. And he's not a distant consultant that checks in with me quarterly. He is my constant companion. The Bible calls him our friend. He's close to me in the ordinary. He's close to me in the lonely places. He's close, y'all, in the moments when nobody else is applauding. Many of us live as if God is across town when he's actually right there in the room. Which brings me to the fourth C, the chair. Y'all, this is so simple. My chair is unimpressive. It's just this basic recliner. But I bought it for this moment because I wanted to have what I call a thin place, a place where when I sit in that place, when I'm in that place, I am aware that the space between heaven and earth is very, very thin. Like God is right there. And when I sit in this chair every morning, I realize that I'm trusting that chair to hold me up. Heaven becomes very close to me in that moment. And I remember, like, that chair reminds me of surrender. I can rest the full weight of my life in the presence of God. Not the edited version, not the polished version, not the version that people in my church might hope I am. The whole thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, the unfinished, all of the questions, man, I can bring all of that and rest it in the presence of God. Jesus said, come to me and I will give you rest. Real rest is not the absence of responsibility. It's the presence of someone strong enough to carry what I can't. Sometimes we're tired because we're standing under weights that we were never meant to hold. We were meant to surrender. So friend, sit down. You don't have to hold yourself together before God can hold you. Man, that chair reminds me He can hold my entire weight. And all of these C's point to the fifth C, the one that's the most important of all, is Christ. Because y'all, without Christ, that candle is just decor. Without Christ, that cup is just caffeine. That companion is just an adorable puppy. The chair's just furniture, but with Christ, everything becomes sacramental. Everything becomes a reminder. Everything becomes a doorway to communion. This is why Ignatian Spirituality says we can find God in all things. Because Colossians says that in Him, all things actually hold together. Not just galaxies, but morning routines and fragile hearts. Worn out leaders, distracted souls. For all of these things, Christ is the center. He's the source. He is the secure attachment that our hearts have always craved for and always needed. Now, listen, we live on a planet sustained by 5 great C's. And maybe your soul needs 5 simple C's to sustain it. A candle, a cup, a companion, a chair, and above all, Christ. Now, you don't have to have my routine. I'm just sharing this with you so that you'll have some idea of what might work for you. Maybe yours is a window or a journal or a walking trail or a porch swing or just the silence before anybody else wakes up. It's okay, whatever it is. The goal isn't to copy my ritual or my routine or my rhythm. The goal is to create your own. Rhythms that remind you that you're loved and safe and held and never alone. Because sustainable faith is rarely built in dramatic moments. It's actually built in daily returning again and again to Christ. Listen, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Reluctant Leader Podcast. Again, episode 70. Wow. If this has encouraged you, would you share it with someone who's been running on empty lately? Maybe someone who needs to be reminded that renewal is often found in simple, steady rhythms with Jesus. Maybe not at a conference that you spent thousands of dollars for. Maybe just in a chair, holding a cup with a companion, looking at a candle and remembering that you're loved by Christ. So today, take a look around your own life. What ordinary things could become sacred reminders of God's nearness to you? A morning walk, a favorite chair, a kitchen table, a quiet drive to work. Grace is often hiding in plain sight. You don't need a perfect setup. You don't need to go to a monastery. You don't need more pressure. You just need a willingness to notice that Christ is already closer than you think. Thanks again for being here with me. So until next time, keep giving God your best and trust Him with the rest.